So we're going to start by reviewing our point slope form and our slope formula. So we're going to do these first two, and then we'll do a few examples, and then this is going to be the thing that's new. All right. So your slope formula, it is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You're going to subtract your y's, subtract your x's. It's not new. It's not different. It's the same thing that we did before. All right, and then what is your slope intercept form for your line, that format that we use? There you go. Y equals mx plus b. M is the slope, b is the y-intercept. Now there's a third one that's called point slope form. As a heads up, the first two questions on your test were these. Those are the answers. The first three questions on your test for this unit are going to be these three. And they're like, is the answer, okay? The first three should be gimme ones because it's definitions. We're going to review these two real quick, and then I'll come back to the point slope, all right? So look at number one. Write an equation of each line with the given slope and y-intercept. All you have to do is take the ingredients and put it all together. So this would be y equals what? You're just getting the format right. 1/2 x minus 3. That is it. That's the slope and that's the y-intercept. That's the format it goes in. Now this is one of our special ones. If the slope is 0, it's 0. Slope of 0 is going to be this way. Is that x equals or is that y equals? Do you remember your Hoy Vux? 0 slope means it's horizontal. It's going to be y equals. And hey, kiddos, what number? Can you put that away and pick up your pencil and write this down with me? Good. Why is it 4? Well, there is a slope. It's 0, but where'd 4 come from?
The y-intercept.
Good. The y-intercept. Y equals 4. As a follow-up, and you need to listen to this, instead if it said undefined, instead of y equals, it would be x equals, and I would have had to give you a different number because there wouldn't be a y-intercept, but it would be x equals and then whatever the number was, okay? Now this one we're going to do from a graph. So you're going to look at your 2 points and just count the little boxes. Count how much down and how much over it went. What is our slope? I'm just going to write it right underneath. Negative. It will be negative because it's going down. Good. -3/4. If you guys stick with me like this, this will go nice and quick. -3/4. So when we write the equation, it's going to be y equals -3/4 x. Now hold on. Everybody writes at a different pace, so just chill. And then you have to put the y-intercept after that. So what's our y-intercept? 2. So +2. You're going to be okay. Now, those were all ones where you were given the y-intercept. And so it all kind of fell into place. If you don't have all of those things and you can't just write the answer, you're going to use your point slope form. As a heads up, here's my pep talk. It's going to look scary at first, but once you do it enough times, it won't be that bad. It is y minus y1 equals m, which is your slope, parenthesis, x minus x1. And here's the way I sum it up. It's y minus whatever the y number is equals slope x minus whatever the x number is. This is repetition. You just have to do it over and over and over again, and it will sink in. I promise. I just told you weren't going to like it when I first wrote it, but you got to give me a chance to do some examples for you. Okay, so we're going to come down here to number 4. This is your slope right there. If you want to say that's M, go ahead. If that helps you to label. And then if you want to label your point x1, y1, you can do that as well. I hope you eventually get to a point where you can kind of just do the problem and you don't have to do all that, but certainly labeling is a good idea. And let me write the equation on the board behind me so you guys can still see it. So it's going to start out y minus. That's how it's always going to start. Y minus. What is y1? Find it. I labeled it. Good. Okay. So if you do y minus -3, it will be y plus 3. Very good. Minus and negative cancels out. Equals Now the next thing is M. I labeled that too. What number is our slope? 4. Very good. Parenthesis, x minus 2. You have all the ingredients. You're just putting them in the right spot. Let me just recap. It was y minus -3. So it's plus. Negatives cancel. Equals our slope, parenthesis, x minus your x number. Now there are only 2 steps. And you guys are good at both of them. You're going to distribute the 4. You guys are good at distributing. What would that give you? Y plus 3 equals what? Distribute the 4 for me. Good. 4x minus 8. Beautiful. 4 times 2 is 8. Can you stop that and write this down? And then your last step is to get the y by itself. How would you get rid of a plus 3? Minus 3. Minus 3 minus 3. And so your answer is y equals 4x. -8 and -3 would be -11. Oh, my son's birthday is 4/11. Interesting how that came out. We're just going to practice the heck out of that, okay? Y minus your y number equals slope, x minus your x number. I've got it on the board behind me. Let's try another one. Just going to practice the heck out of it, all right? So for this one, what is M? Go ahead and read. You're not being respectful of my things. Good, thank you. I'm going to talk to the people that are paying attention here. All right, and then this is x1, y1, if you want to label that. So you have all the ingredients, and there's your recipe. You're just putting it in the right place. So it would be y minus which one of those numbers? Good. Oh, good. And it would be y plus 5, because minus -5 is going to cancel. So
how much how to run an X or run a Y.
Work on that. All right, equals, then what comes next? Good. Parenthesis, x minus 9. And again, it is only 2 steps. You're going to distribute, and I'm sorry, I'm just trying to bring up Desmos here so I can share my screen and show that. Desmos graphing. I'm trying to bring this up so I can share my screen. Sorry. It's always going to be in that format, and you're going to have 2 steps. We're going to distribute, and then you get y by itself. So y plus 5 equals. Now, I brought up the calculator because this one's a fraction, and I know that can be scary. But what do you get for the first part? Well, it's 2/3 times x, so don't overthink that. It would just be 2/3 x minus, and then I'm going to share my screen. Just watch. You would type in 2/3 times what? What are we multiplying by? 9. So 6. Oh, and it would be minus 6 because it was negative. But do you see how I typed it in? You just always use your calculator. So minus 6. And then what's your last step? You need to get y by itself. Yep, good. Minus 5, minus 5. Perfect. So your final answer, y equals 2/3 x, -6 and -5. And that's weird, they both came out to 11. That's a coincidence. It's not like it's always 11. You are going to get a quiz on this at some point in the not too distant future. Can you please write it down for me? Or at least I'll take paying attention. I'll take that. Thank you. Now, if you don't have the slope, you have to find the slope first. I'll put the slope formula on the board as well. It's this one right here. So if you don't have that, you have to find that first. So when you go to get your slope, which 2 numbers are the y numbers, guys? You did this on your test beautifully. You guys were good at it. Good.
And 5.
-1 minus 5. Perfect.
I got a 4.
And then in the denominator, you're going to have the x numbers. It would be 0 minus -3, which would be 0 plus 3. And you would then do what? Put it where? Put it into Desmos. For the sake of time, I'm going to just tell you that comes out to -2. Now, when you go to use this formula, does it matter which point you use? Kind of doesn't, but in this case, one of them is actually easier than the other because one of them's the y-intercept. I actually didn't notice that until right now. Which one of these is our y-intercept? Yeah, -1 is the y-intercept. So you can actually skip that and just go write the answer. It'll be y equals mx plus b. What's our slope? We just found it. Yeah, -2. Y equals -2x. And then our y-intercept is -1. So if you're given the y-intercept, you can actually skip doing that because you have all the information. I actually didn't realize that until right then. All right, let's try that again. Slope. Which two numbers are your y numbers? Good. I don't want to do another break because I want you to have time to do your delta math at the end. All right?
We do it in 1 minute, but
No. So it'll be -2 minus -1. So +1. And then what will go in the denominator? Good. 5 minus 2. And then you would type it into the calculator. For the sake of time, I'm going to tell you it's -1/3. You would just put it in the calculator, okay? Now, this is what I was about to say to this one until I noticed that was the y-intercept. Since that was the y-intercept, we just had the answer. Neither one of these is the y-intercept. So you're going to have to use your point slope form. Does it matter which point you use, do you think? No. So here's my suggestion. Always use the first one. For no other reason than it's the first one and you just need to pick one and it literally doesn't matter. So we're just going to use the first one, okay? So you have all your ingredients. You have your point and your slope. Your equation's right there. It's going to be y minus what, guys?
y minus
Good.
Y
Plus 1 equals -1/3. Perfect. Parenthesis x minus 2. You have all the numbers. You're just putting them in the right format. So yeah, you memorize the formula and then you just put it all where it goes. And then there's 2 steps. It's always only 2 steps. What do you do next? Distribute. Good. It'll be y plus 1 equal. You guys are listening to me. This is awesome. -1/3 x. Now negatives cancel. So it'll be plus. You can type it in if you want, but 1/3 times 2 is 2/3. I'll just go ahead and tell you that. 1/3 times 2 is just going to be 2/3. And then what would your last step be? Good. -1. Perfect. So y equals -1/3 x. And then I'll type that into Desmos and show you. I'm just going to share my screen. What am I going to type in? You guys read it off the paper for me. Calculator's great, but you have to know what to type. 2/3 minus 1. Stop it. Now, how do I turn that back into a fraction? Yep, click the fraction mode. It's right there, little blue button. Shh. So -1/3. That one's kind of weird. The slope and the y-intercept came out to the same thing. All right, now when you have a table, you do your change in y and then your change in x. From -8 to +1, what did we add to get from -8 to positive? Plus what? 9,
Plus
good.
9.
Plus 9. And then to get from 2 to 5, we did +3. You can count on your fingers. That's why you got them. So your slope would be 9/3. Remember, it's y over x, rise over run. And what does that reduce down to? 9 divided by 3, be 3. You can always type in the calculator, but 9 divided by 3 is 3. Again, does it matter which point you use? No. Are you getting this written down too? Or are you hiding in your code? You take your, yeah, you need to write it down. Doesn't matter which one you use, so we're going to use the first one for no other reason than it's the first one. You have to pick one, just go with the first one. So 2 -8. So let's go ahead and write it out. It'll start y minus which number? Good, perfect. Y plus 8. You're really good at this.
Y plus 8.
It's plus because when you do minus and negative, it cancels. All right, which ingredient comes next? Which number is next? Good, our slope is 3. Parenthesis. Mine's good. You're just literally putting all the numbers where they go, is really all that is. You memorize the formula and then you put all the numbers where they go. Are you writing this down?
Yes.
I know, just every time I look at you, you're not holding a pencil, so. Do you have it all written down? Are you on the same page? We're not even on that page. We're over here. It's together. You don't have any of this written down.
Yeah,
Right, well then why don't you come over here and get a flower and like stick with me? Alright, we have two steps. What are they? Yep, distribute. So you'll have y plus 8 equals 3x minus 6, good?
Yeah.
Good, and then minus 8. Get the y by itself. So it'll be y equals. This is your final answer. 3x. Yeah, negative 6 and negative 8 will be negative 14. Good job. We don't have too much left. I'm gonna just keep going because I want you to have time at the end to do your delta math.
You only have internet.
Yep, that's it. And your delta math.
What's that one?
And I might skip one or two of these. Maybe we'll do one or the other of these table ones because we already did a table one and I want you to have time to do your delta math.
Let's
All right.
go.
So your x-intercept at negative 8. This is the most commonly missed question on the test. I'll go ahead and tell you is the one that's written like this. An x-intercept at negative 8 means it's the point negative 8 comma 0. You have to write it out as an ordered pair. That's your x-intercept, negative 8 comma 0. Write that down. All right, and then how would you write a y-intercept at 2? Good. You have to know where the zeros go. You guys did well with that on your test. I didn't take off if you didn't put the zeros, but most of you put them, so I was proud, right? And then we're going to get our slope. Looking at your points, which ones are the y numbers? 2 and 0. Okay, so we're going to have 0 minus 2.
0 minus 2.
Good job. And then in the denominator,
Hey, 0 minus 8.
well, it's negative 8
Minus 0.
minus 0. It's weird with the zeros. This is the most commonly missed question, and I get it 100%. It's weird with the zeros. Now you would type it into the calculator for the sake of time. I'm going to tell you it comes out to 1/4. I'm being your calculator there.
I didn't know 0 could be a fifth.
You're just subtracting nothing
I don't
Right.
just put a plus sign.
because the formula is negatives. Now, we don't actually have to do this. This problem is less work because you were given the y-intercept. If you're given the y-intercept, you can just write the answer. Y equals mx plus b. So it'll be y equals what? 1/4 x plus 2. Perfect. If you notice that you have the y-intercept, then you don't have to do all that work. All right, we'll do one or the other of 10 and 11 because they're kind of the same thing. Which one do you want to do, 10 or 11?
11.
11? Because it's about like a football thing? Okay, so look at your y's, 34, 46, 58. Count on your fingers if you need to. What are you adding
Plus
each
12.
time? Is that 12? Plus 12, cool. And then for the x's, 4, 6, 8, plus 2. Good. So your slope is 12 over 2 is 6. Very good. It doesn't matter what point you use. So I would use the first one for no other reason than it's the first one. That's it. Just, you have to pick one, use the first one. So it's going to be y minus what?
6.
34 equals 6. Good. Parenthesis. Yeah. Again, you memorize that formula and you just put all the ingredients in the right spot is really all that you're doing. And then from there, you just do the math. Basically, you're getting y by itself. Y minus 34 equals, distribute the 6. What would that be? Good. This is going really well. You guys are getting this. This is one of the hardest topics we do all year. So nice job. And then plus 34. So it'll be y equals 6x. Close. 10.
Mathematical, right?
And I talked you through a lot of that. You obviously have access to the calculator. I was being your calculator for a lot of that so that we could like move through it. And then these last ones are your special one. I cannot stress this enough. All right. What does the H stand for? Good. Well, horizontal.
0.
Zero slope. I put the line through it to show it's a zero. And it's gonna be y equals whatever the number is. V stands for vertical, has an undefined slope, and it's x equals whatever the number is. These are both easy and hard. It's easy because there's no work. It's hard because it's easy to mix them up, okay? Write the equation of the line with undefined slope. Hey kiddos, undefined. Is it gonna be x equals or y equals? Good, so just write that, x equals. And then which one of these numbers is the x number?
4.
Do you know the Quizlet that I like drill and practice with you guys on that? Maybe we'll do that as a warm up next time.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Now this says zero slope, so that would be
Y.
y equals, and then -2 is your y number.